Hello, welcome to this module on types of loads and distribution of power. Let's start with the topic on classification of consumers. At the end of this topic, you will be able to understand the distribution sector in India, describe the power distribution voltages in India, distinguish between low tension power supply and high tension power supply, explain different types of consumers. Let's start off with the distribution sector in India. The distribution segment carries electricity to consumers from where transmission leaves off. Distribution system is the crucial and weakest link in the electricity supply chain. This segment has a direct impact on sector's commercial viability and on consumers. The sector has the following problems: high distribution losses, theft of electricity, poor financial health of utilities. Let's discuss the power distribution voltages in India. The standard voltages at which power is distributed in India are as follows. At higher level, 33 kV, 22 kV, 11 kV. At medium level, 6.6 kV, 3.3 kV, 2.2 kV. At low level, it is 400 volts, 230 volts. Now let's look at LT versus HT power supply in India. In our country, low tension supply is provided at two levels. Single phase power supply is provided at 230 volts 50 Hz. Three phase power supply is provided at 400 volts 50 Hz. High tension power supply is provided at 11 kilovolts or above for bulk power consumers. Low tension service connections are generally provided to the small consumers such as small individual houses, shops, offices, little manufacturing units, etc. Big manufacturing units, factories, big offices, universities, hostels, hotels, residential colonies, etc. are the bulk power purchases. They get power at high tension level. Let's look at the different type of consumers such as domestic, commercial, industrial and agricultural consumers. The first photograph depicts the domestic consumer. The second photograph shows the commercial consumer, representing factories and industries, that is, shops and offices. The third one depicts the industrial consumer, that is, factories and industries. The last one shows the agricultural connections. The energy is charged by the distribution companies. There are different categories of charges for different types of consumers. Each state has its own categories and tariff structure. The tariff depends upon the business prevalent upon their state. The power supply will be provided based on the connected load. Here are the power supply service connection conditions. Individual DISCOMs, based on the recommendations of State's Electricity Regulatory Commission, frame the rules for providing power to consumers. Following is an example of what exists in one of the state's electricity regulatory commissions. However, the DISCOMs will operate as per their framed rules and power availability. 240 volts single phase connection will be provided up to maximum load of 4000 watts. 415 volts 3-phase 4-wire connection will be provided for loads between 4000 watts and 112 kilowatts. 11 kV or 22 kV 3-phase connection will be provided for loads between 63 kVA and 5 MVA. 33 kV 3-phase connection will be provided for loads greater than 5 MVA and less than 10 MVA. 110 kV 3-phase connection will be provided for loads between 10 MVA and 50 MVA. 230 kV 3-phase connection will be provided for loads greater than 50 MVA. An example of a sanctioned load and a consumer's monthly consumption for one of the states is as follows. Domestic consumer, sanctioned load is 1 to 10 kilowatts, whereas the consumption of energy is 100 to 1000 units. Commercial consumers, sanctioned load is 2 to 50 kilowatts, whereas the consumption of energy is 300 to 7,500 units. Small industries, sanction load is 5 to 15 kilowatt, whereas the consumption of energy is 750 to 2,500 units. Medium industries, sanction load is 50 to 100 kilowatts, whereas consumption of energy is 7,500 to 15,000 units. Large industries 11 kV, sanction load is 250 to 20,000 kilowatts, whereas the consumption of energy is 73,000 to 87 lakh 60,000 units. Large industries 33 kV, sanction load is 5,000 to 50,000 kilowatts, whereas the consumption of energy is 14 lakh 60,000 to 21 lakh 90,000 units. Power intensive industries, sanction load is 5 lakh kilowatts, whereas the consumption of energy is 29 lakh 20,000 units. Thank you for taking this topic. See you all in the next topic.